ManningCast.com. Happy to be here once again. I know I was here just 24 hours ago. Usually do one stream a week. But I will tell you, whenever I get the opportunity to have my boy H5, my brother, in the queue, Hezzie McCaleb is back to hit the airwaves and hit our audio podcast listeners and live streamers. Big shout out to everyone who's peeping the show right now. And thank you for all the various formats. I wish I had the picture available. And then let's see if I could do it real quick. Let's see if I could do ACV. And I wanted to shout out one of the sponsors for apple cider vinegar. If you know anything about your body and how to cleanse your body and all the above, I know we're all busy talking about mandates and everything, but wanted to give a big shout out to VitaFusion, who provides the gummy vitamins which contain apple cider vinegar. Plus your B12 for energy and metabolism support. So shout out to VitaFusion. All right. So we kissed all the babies. We've shaken all the hands. I got H5 in here, brother. What's going on, man? How you been?
Oh, man. I've been good, brother. I've been good. Been blessed. Can't complain. Happy to be here.
It's good to see you. It's like, it has to be like a huge event to get you on here, but I gotta tell you, your boys beat the world beaters. They are the Dragon Slayers. The New Orleans Saints that was like the biggest upset, that I can remember during the regular season. You lost your quarterback, but it just didn't matter. What's going on with your Saints?
Well, let me just start off by saying, who dat? You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody in the Who Dat Nation, whether born and raised in New Orleans or Louisiana, or if you're around the United States. Shout out to all of y'all. As far as that team, I just got to give a shout out first of all to that defense, right? That defense is championship level defense. The Saints offense obviously, has taken a drop since Drew Brees retired. Drew was running that thing like a sewing machine as long as his arm, was still healthy. And we haven't gotten to that fine-tuned, sewing machine-like offense like we have been used to seeing over the last probably 10, 11 years. Jameis is trying to figure it out. But in his defense, one thing he was known for while he was in Tampa was turning the ball over at a significant rate. A lot of picks. Right. Picks, fumbles, but that's been reduced significantly. He was very efficient up until that injury. But yeah, I got to give a shout out to the defense. DeMario Davis and company. They put the clamps down on Brady for at least about 2-3 quarters before they started moving the ball again. But at one point, like I remember, I was in Atlanta at the time, and we went to go pick up some crawfish because we from New Orleans. You know how we got to do. We got to bust the mud bugs open. You dig? And some of them hot boiled shrimp. So by the time we got back, we was up 23-7. I'm like, what's going on here, right? And what made it even more shocking was because at that point, Jameis had been injured. Because, before we left, or while we were out, I saw that Jameis had got hurt, and it didn't look good, right? The way his knee buckled, I was like, that's the kind of injury that's typically associated with an ACL tear, and that's what it ended up being. By the way, that was a dirty play because that was a horse collar tackle that caused him to get injured like that. I don't know how they approached that. He got pulled down from the back while he was running, and that's an illegal tackle. So I definitely feel some kind of way about that. But overall, man, I got to give him nothing but props, bro. I mean, because you go against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and a whole host of receivers there. You got Leonard Fournette, who's coming into his own, the New Orleans native, and that defense. That defense ain't no joke. So my boys held it down, man. At home, they rocked the dome, man. That energy was live, man. So big props out to the Saints, even though they had to lose Jameis in the process.
So tell me this much: for Week 9, who is your starting quarterback?
I heard reports that Taysom Hill was back, because he had been out on concussion protocol.
Right.
So it's probably going to be a competition between Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill. Now, I will say this, even though I'm not high on Trevor Siemian, he's a better natural quarterback than Taysom Hill is. So maybe they can get back to some of that kind of trickery that they have been using Taysom Hill for to kind of give him an edge, where Trevian kind of lacks, you know what I mean? Because Trevor Siemian doesn't have that, on the field presence that Jameis had, you know what I'm saying? So if they can kind of do kind of like a Swiss Army knife style, combination between Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian, and Alvin Kamara, they may be able to generate points. I was a little disappointed when I heard about Michael Thomas. He's going to be out for the season because really we don't have any star wide receivers anymore. So that's another reason, another part of why we can't generate the points like we used to.
Gotcha. You need that WR1. Let's get into. We'll keep it with football.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play a video for you. Because there was an undressing today. Undressing.
Let's check it out.
We'll tie this together.
All right.
So I'm gonna drop you down. I'm gonna drop myself down.
Yeah, let's check this out.
I'm gonna drop the logo down, and in 1 sec. And of course, when I'm looking for it, I don't see it. Because there was, like I said, I don't want to say there was a wilding attack. Oh, man. And this thing is just staring me right in my, oh, here it is. So I'll set it up. Jay Williams, Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, Stephen A. Smith in his, newly minted version of the Stephen A. Smith and Friends First Take.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was, just killing Kyrie Irving. Like 3 weeks ago, killing him. You this, you that, you this, you that. I think it came down to the fact that Aaron Rodgers is also unvaccinated, like Kyrie Irving. But there's a slight bit of difference. We'll play the audio, H.
Yeah, let's check this out.
Exponentially worse. There was not only a lie, there was intent to lie. And just a couple of things for you, Stephen A., because we obviously have this, I have described with you. Because
It's both of us.
Yeah. That's fine. I wrote down some things that you said here.
Sure.
So 3.5 weeks ago, you said it amounts to betrayal for Kyrie. You said, quote, flat out stupid as relates to what he's doing. Quote, bad teammate. Quote, selfish. October 16th on CNN. To the hell with you. You say all these things about Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie Irving was very upfront and honest about what his situation was.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't jeopardizing anybody else. He didn't put anybody else on the Brooklyn Nets and their team at risk. When he was allowed to be around the team, he had his mask on. He abided by all the rules. But he was subject to mass criticism by you, animated criticism by you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm in a green room, and I watch you, and I see your points that you had against Aaron Rodgers, and I appreciate the stance by calling him a liar. I just didn't feel the same venom. I didn't feel the same energy that was associated with Kyrie Irving. And a part of me wonders why. How come you don't hold Aaron Rodgers to the same who lied on national, looked reporters in the eye and said, yeah, I'm immunized.
Okay.
Why not? I don't understand that.
H, what in the hell is going on here? What in the hell is going on here?
Listen, that old saying where they say, keep that same energy.
Keep the same intensity.
That same intensity, same energy, and Jay called him on it, and he should have. He was right to call him on it because a lot of folks, especially, brothers and sisters in the black community took exception to how Stephen A was going way over the top with his animus towards Kyrie Irving. Now, I do understand it from a certain standpoint, but Jay made a lot of good points. And, if you compare the two, it's really no comparison because this man, Aaron Rodgers, told people he was immunized, later found out that he's not. So, if you take into account contact tracing and how many people he was around and how many people he could have put in danger, right? Where's that animus? Where's that, where's all of that intensity, like you said, or that energy? And that's why some people question Stephen A's ethics when it comes to, certain topics and certain sports figures.
I think Stephen A is a cartoon character. I just don't appreciate this version of Stephen A. Mike Copenhaver, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Mike. I was just going to say, a lot of people feel some kind of way as well about how everything went down between him and Max Kellerman as well.
Right.
A lot of people was, in Max Kellerman's camp, and got the feeling that Stephen A pushed Max Kellerman out, right? And so now it's this, like you mentioned, this Stephen A and friends, and it's really not that good of a show, bro.
Well, I mean, if you're a Stephen A fan, then it's a great show because he gets to sit there and debate a new person each day of the week. I don't watch it. I'm just not into something like that. And then we go from sport to sport to sport, and he's sitting there as the expert. So I kind of question that, but I don't know if you got to listen to the Sports Illustrated Media podcast. Stephen A was on there with Jimmy Traina, and Stephen A copped to getting Max removed. He said, "Oh yeah, I was the reason why he was removed off the show."
Oh, really? He said that?
He said it straight up.
Wow.
Yeah. Mike, thank you for the donation. I don't know. We have to see what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. We're going to have to see, because in the beginning of the season they were talking about, if someone gets COVID or someone's not vaccinated or whatever the situation is, both teams getting fined and people getting suspended. But it seems like they were in the know. The NFL was in the know. They got some issues on their hands. The NFL goes from this situation with Aaron Rodgers. 4 weeks ago, we were dealing with Chucky, John Gruden.
Yep.
And then we spilled to Dan Snyder.
Yep.
So, we get it. Ratings is king. NFL is king. And when we used to do barbershop sports, we would always talk about how the NFL was king. And here it is, all these years moving forward, and it's still the same case.
Yeah, it's still king. I was just sitting here thinking for a second, and I was just like, I remember last year, Cam Newton was unvaccinated, and he ended up getting COVID a couple times, and really, honestly, since then, and his kind of like stance on being unvaccinated. I don't know if he's vaccinated now or not. I think he said he is, but I'm not sure. But they kind of blackballed him, man. Like, no, you mean to tell me no team in the NFL could use Cam Newton at least as a backup?
Can't get a sniff.
And now here we are, forgive the expression, but with the White Knight. Now, the White Knight has lied to y'all. Now he's got COVID. You don't know who he got infected or not, and now there's not that same animus. There's not that same push to blackball the man, so I'm definitely paying attention to it for sure.
I don't know. We'll see how this thing spins out, because it's really, for the ratings to be back, as the numbers that they're doing, and the fact that the fans are back in the the stadium. I don't know about you, Hez. I'm not inspired to go to a game this season. It says I wasn't inspired to try to get into a game last season. What's your take?
I don't know. I guess I got mixed feelings on it. I definitely would go see the Saints, in the dome if I could. But, it's definitely some things to think about. Obviously being crowded in with a whole bunch of people like that, know their vaccination status. Because, you still can catch COVID even if you're vaccinated, it's not a cure. It's just a preventative measure, from folks getting tragically ill, but you can still catch COVID. So I definitely see where you're coming from there. But, just looking at those stadiums from around the league, bro, they're packed to the gills, bro.
Yo, they are packed. They are back. And I don't know if they have unvaccinated areas or, I'm guessing you got to be vaccinated to get into the stadium. But who knows? I don't know.
I don't think they're that surgical, bro. They just listen. Did you pay for a ticket or not? That's it.
You buy a ticket.
That's it. Your status is irrelevant. Put on this mask and call it a day.
I want to get in here.
Oh boy.
Your guy. I'm gonna take you down.
Look at that. If you look at what's going on with some of the big corporations with their agenda, look at Biden, the Brandon administration in terms of you know, I don't even know, like, do you know how that started? Like, it was, and like, you know, you have the media that are hand-wringing over this, but, you know, it was at a NASCAR race, and they're doing an interview with the driver, I guess his name was Brandon, and the crowd starts chanting very colorful language about Joe Biden. And it was obvious that they were doing, and, you know, it is what it is. First of all, they said way worse about Trump for 4 years. We know that. But so they're chanting this, and so you have a reporter from NBC who knows that's what they're saying, and she's trying to cover for Biden. So she says, yeah, they're chanting, let's go, Brandon. And that was a lie. And it was a lie. And so this chant, I think, has taken on a life of its own because it exposes the dishonesty of these corporate reporters and what they do every day to try to lie. And so now you see it. But bottom line is we've got
Man,
He's in your state. He's the governor of your state, H5. And unfortunately, I think he's going to be the Republican candidate and potentially the next president of the United States.
That's a fair assessment. Real quick on that, I know you call Stephen A. a comic book character, but if anybody's a comic book character, it is Death Santis, as we call him here in Florida. Not DeSantis, Death Santis. I mean, the fact that he could, you know, even kind of broach the subject of somebody else being dishonest is like a complete joke to me. I was looking at that room when the camera panned out, and I don't know if you saw it, but it wasn't a lot of diversity in that room, brother.
No, not at all.
He was playing to his audience. Let's just say it like that. He was playing to his audience, and I have heard and seen that, you know, some of the polls around the country have him polling high, even higher than Trump, actually, for 2024 for the Republican ticket. So, you know, we'll see how it goes.
Is it still anything goes in your state? Because that's what it appears to be on TV. And we just see the numbers going up and up and up and up. And
Oh yeah. You know, anything goes. And a lot of people, you know, have been getting sick. You know, hospitals all over the state, you know, have been overrun, overwhelmed. Doctors and nurses, you know, on the front lines, you know, working 24/7 to try to keep people alive, and you know, it's crazy, man. You know, so for the fact that he can stand up there and, you know, make a joke about, you know, some reporter saying something, trying to cover, I guess, for what a crowd was saying about Biden. It's like, dude, you can't even take care of your citizens in your state. You know, like, you talking about a corporate reporter, man, the corporations got their hands in your back, bro. Like, they wind you up. You the toy soldier. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, you are the face of, or him, you know, DeSantis is the face of corporate interests, because corporations never really for the people, you know? And so, again, you know, when you say for the people, when you're looking in that crowd that he was speaking to, no diversity, bro. Not even age diversity. You know what I'm saying? Even if you just stayed in that one demographic that was in the room, they didn't even have age diversity there.
Nope.
You know, so, you know, I know he is polling high, but, you know, I really love the game of politics, because to win the presidency, you have to really, really galvanize a whole bunch of people across demographics to pull it off, you know. And it's easy, obviously, for him to do that in Florida than it would be across the country. So we're gonna see.
If you had an early estimation or prediction, how do you think that's going to play across the country, across the Midwest? That type of style and that type of bravado.
It's kind of like he walking the line between an average politician and Donald Trump. You know, he trying to walk that road. And he's been doing a pretty good job, not going too far into the extreme sides of, you know, what people dislike about Trump. I definitely think the GOP could do a lot better than him. But as far as answering your question about the Midwest and everything like that, I really don't have a good answer across the Midwest. I'm also thinking about how he's going to play on the West Coast and, you know, just other areas, you know, the East Coast. Because to get to, 302 or something of the electoral votes in the 300 range. To get there, he's going to have to win some key states, bro.
270.
270, my bad. 270. So, yeah, but he's going to have to win some key states. I mean, obviously he's going to win Florida, probably Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina. But can he win Pennsylvania? You know, can he win Ohio? Can he win? I mean, the southern states he's going to get, but the other states with those larger electoral vote counts, you know, kind of like, you know, on the East Coast, like Pennsylvania. Can he pull that off? You know, I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's what we're going to be waiting to see. We segue really quick. Hey, we've got a budget, and we can only have 3 streaming services. What are your choices?
3 streaming services. Well, what am I watching most now? HBO Max, Netflix, and Apple TV.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you currently watching on, you know, what's kind of like, whether you're binging or whether you're accessing it once a week? What TV series are you watching right now?
Well, you know, I'll bring up first, you know, a classic that I just rediscovered is on HBO Max, Martin. You know, I'm watching that on HBO now, starting with the first season. Okay. So that's definitely been a joy. Can't go wrong with Marty Marr. But it's classic content. I'm also streaming Curb Your Enthusiasm, big Larry David fan, which is also on HBO Max. This is also on HBO Max as well. I'm also a big anime fan, so I'm watching this anime called Food Wars, which is crazy about these kids that compete against each other in these crazy cooking competitions. It doesn't sound like it would be interesting, but dude, that show is off the chain to me. So stream that, and then on Apple TV, became really, really enthralled with Ted Lasso, man. That is a fantastic show that I would recommend to anybody who hasn't seen it. You would think, okay, this is a story about an American football coach who flies to England to take over a soccer team. What's the interest in that? But man, don't let that fool you. Watch that show. It is fantastic. There's another show on there, Foundation, that I'm watching, a sci-fi show. And then lastly, on Netflix, obviously one of the most popular shows in the world, at least over the last month, Squid Games. That's insane, crazy. It's a little dark. So if you're not into, violence and stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend it, but it is a very good show overall.
Gotcha. I wanna segue to with one NBA question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How much better is the NBA with the Knicks being good again? I don't want to say great again.
Oh man,
that goes down, the rabbit hole with the
right.
baseball caps and all that.
It's a cornerstone franchise, bro. When you think about the NBA, Knicks, Celtics, Lakers, those are the three major cornerstone franchises. And when those teams are competitive, I think it just kind of raises the level for everything else. Obviously, the Knicks have been in the toilet, the tank, bottom of the barrel for the last, 10, 15 years. But, man, I got to say it's very exciting, man. I mean, I'm not from New York, but, growing up watching the Patrick Ewing Knicks, John Starks, Allen Houston, what a great team, Charles Oakley. And those heavy competitions that they had with the Bulls, back in the day, epic matchups. So to see, R.J. Barrett, coming into his own,
yes,
on both exciting. The offensive and the defensive side,
that's exciting,
right? To help out Randall, who Randall really was the kind of like the top dog there last year. And Barrett was, coming along, but he hadn't got to where he is now. So to see his growth now, it's very promising. It looks great for the Knicks, man.
Yeah, I will say, it just makes it so. I just like the fact that you have Brooklyn that's super competitive, and you now have the Knicks who are scrappy. Last year was scrappy. But now they're also competitive, equally competitive. I got a feeling with Mayor-elect Eric Adams, Kyrie is not going to be on the sideline much longer.
Hey, I mean, I don't know if he's vaccinated yet or not. But
lastly, I heard he wasn't, and he was taking a stance on that. So Eric Adams, who's the former Brooklyn Borough president, wink, Brooklyn Nets, Brooklyn Borough president. He's like, once I get into office, we're going to rectify this really quick.
So is that a municipal mandate? That's not a state mandate.
That's local city.
Okay.
Local city. So unless the Governor Hochul, who replaced Governor Cuomo, puts the smack down, because she's over the entire state. But I think something like this is going to get rectified really quick. We'll see Kyrie around Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Hopefully he's still working out. But I just want to leave that there. H, want to ask you a Verzuz question.
Okay.
Did you see the KRS-One versus Big Daddy Kane? Have you been watching Verzuz?
Oh yeah, definitely have been watching a few of those Verzuz, and they've had some epic moments. My current top epic moment is Jadakiss. To me, he took Verzuz and it went out of this world. The energy that he brought. Nobody expected that. Saw that coming, but definitely watching Verzuz. Yep.
Who is your epic Verzuz? Who would you want to see?
Oh man, I was giving that a little thought, and so many people came to mind. But ultimately, I settled with Busta Rhymes versus Jay-Z.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, because they both go all the way back to the old school. I mean, Busta Rhymes was, you know, on records more before Jay-Z, but Jay-Z is still from that era.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So the competition, and Busta Rhymes been wanting to do a versus, but nobody really wants to get in there with him. You know, so I think, you know, and Jay-Z, you know, you see him smooth now with the dreads, you know, taking fancy pictures with Beyonce, but that dude is he from the block, man. He was known for destroying MCs, man, rolling up on folks, challenging them. You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't lost his ability to rap. He just moved on to you know, other things, but his catalog is official. So I would love to see that, man.
I'm gonna stay totally New York.
Okay.
I want to see Jay-Z get mopped by Nas.
Woo! I did think about Nas for a second too. I did. I just think that Nas don't have that energy that you would need for versus battle. Like Nas is so laid back and chill, especially now that he's older. And Jay-Z is kind of laid back too, but he can definitely step it up. I've seen him step it up. And Busta Rhymes obviously is always animated. That's the only reason I didn't know Jay-Z and Nas. But yeah, that would definitely be epic too.
Yeah, I could do that. I don't know if anyone would want to see LL.
Oh,
I don't think anybody would want to see LL.
I mean, that would be another one. I mean, you could, like I said, you could replace Jay-Z and put Busta Rhymes versus LL. I mean, it's like when I think about verses, it's hard for me to go outside of New York. I mean, obviously, I you know, because I'm thinking about battle rapping, you know. So,
right.
That's kind of a New York thing. But you know, you could certainly throw Eminem in there too against somebody.
I would want to see Eminem.
Hell no. He is a monster.
I don't think anyone want to see Eminem. I would like to see maybe T.I. and 50.
That could be interesting. Or like if you got groups, maybe like I don't know, Outkast versus
EPMD.
Woo! Man, EPMD and Outkast is because they're from two different eras. Right. I don't know how that would like measure up, but
right. They have to be from the same era. You're right. I think they do have to be from the same era.
So if it was Outkast,
Tribe Called Quest.
Ooh, they could do that. The only thing is that you don't have Phife Dawg right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Rest in peace.
That's true.
I'm trying to think of another little group that was like that was comparable that you know could go up against Outkast and make it fun. Man, I'm drawing a blank. I wasn't gonna say Wu-Tang, but I don't know. I think it's too many of them.
I don't think anyone wants to see Wu-Tang.
No,
they come as a group, or they come in as a soloist, and I'm like, it's just too much.
Oh, you know what? That also reminded me. I'm also streaming Wu-Tang's series on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
And that is a fantastic show. If anybody hasn't seen that before, man, it's about the how they got started, how they came up, the backstories. It is a fantastic show.
Gotcha. Last set of questions. I want to get into the ManningCast. Everyone, like all the sports media, is raving about the ManningCast.
Mm-hmm.
It's the greatest thing ever. It's Monday Night Football. They're doing 10 out of 17 weeks. They're doing some nice numbers to be on ESPN2. They're doing like almost 2 million. 2 million eyeballs are on them. And they are in partnership with ESPN. They're producing it, co-producing it, and they're doing it from their homes. With, a plethora of guests. What's your take on the ManningCast? Have you moved away from watching traditional football? Have you gone to the ManningCast? And I'm going to ask you, and as a follow-up question is, what happens if it's just a great game that you want to see? Are you going to watch it the ManningCast way, or are you going to watch it the traditional way?
For me, I'm going to watch it the traditional way, unless, there's some guest that they're bringing on that I want to see, like Beast Mode. You know what I mean? Like that one right there, epic. Just because, how he is, his personality. Obviously, Peyton Manning is entertaining. Not really a fan of Eli that much as far as being entertaining. I mean, he has his moments. But one thing I will say about it is definitely a nice, different take to being able to watch the game. You know what I mean? Because you're sitting there with two Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? They were both competitive at the same time. And, I think about all those ESPN commercials with them two together, acting a fool. You know what I'm saying? So this is like the next level for them with that. So it's definitely a nice take and a different way to watch the game. But for me, I still want to hear kind of like the commentary of, whoever's calling the game.
Okay.
How about you?
Me personally, I like watching the ManningCast is like, going to Twitch and having a watch along where you're sitting there and other people are talking about, let's say if a bunch of people are watching The Walking Dead together. I think it's cool. I think it's slick. I don't think it's the future of sports media. Because those specific games, like when the Super Bowl comes around, I don't think I'm going to be watching the ManningCast. I want to watch the traditional game, have the the color analyst breaking it down, play-by-play person breaking it down, and enjoying the game that way through them illustrating it through their stories and everything else like that.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same way. I think it comes off as a little gimmicky, So I don't know if it's sustainable, but it's definitely a nice change from the traditional way of watching the game.
Hey William, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. I don't know anything about the new plans. I know they're working on the update to the mobile app, but that's all I know. But thank you for jumping in here. So my next question is, how much longer because the ManningCast is a success, how much longer before the carbon copies come in? When do we see it with the NBA? When do we see it with the MLB?
If they can sustain it, so like if you going into the 22 season and like and ManningCast is still killing the game, you're definitely probably gonna see some of the other leagues trying to get their take on it. I was thinking about who I would like to see. My list for the NBA is Allen Iverson and Rasheed Wallace.
Woo.
Listen, you want to talk about a blast?
That's some hotness right there.
Yeah. In MLB, I got Big Papi and Barry Bonds.
Okay.
You know, because I mean, Big Papi gonna bring the energy, and obviously Barry Bonds gonna be the more laid back, smooth, but still gonna be fun to watch those two guys go back and forth. And in hockey, I kind of thought about it for a little bit, and I had Gretzky and Messier watching the games with them.
Have to. I think that's a must. That's a must-see event. Those two legends together, just sitting there, virtually in their homes, dissecting the game from offense, from defense. I could see definitely Big Papi.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is Pedro Martinez? I don't know. We see it every Thursday. We see it every Thursday. I would love to see Shaq and Chuck just unleashed without Ernie, without Kenny Smith, just sitting there spewing venom.
Shaq always reminding them how many rings he got.
Yes.
Because Shaq always does that.
Spewing venom with a rotation of guests.
That would also be very entertaining to watch,
They do have a good thing. They really do have a good thing.
Oh yeah. It's no end in sight. I mean, I want to say almost every year or every other year they win an Emmy, right?
Yes.
So
I mean,
they got lightning in the bottle with those guys.
It's between them and Sunday Night Football that go back and forth with that studio show.
Mm-hmm.
Winning Emmys. Did we cover everything? I think we might have covered everything.
The only thing
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the only thing I have on my list that we didn't touch was Henry Ruggs.
Whew.
Man, you want to talk about a tragedy?
That is a tragedy.
I read that when he crashed into the back of that lady's SUV, he was going 156 miles an hour, bro. 156 miles an hour. Like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? The Raiders cleared out his locker in 2.5 seconds.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure the NFL soon as the courts and everything, get through with him, he's gonna be out for a while, bro.
Yeah. It's just an utter tragedy for the families that are affected. I go back and not trying to make light of the situation, but I remember when we used to talk DSS every week, and we would talk about where's the handlers, where's their people, where's their team, and I'm not talking about their specific NFL team, but where's their inner circle for stuff like this.
I mean, would a Uber have killed him, bro? Lyft? Like if you that inebriated, right? And you doing almost 200 miles an hour.
Right.
Come on, man. You cannot react quick enough, especially being inebriated, to avoid anything. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, where's the person that say, even if they didn't do an Uber or Lyft, where's the person that say, okay, I'm not going to drink. You go ahead and ball out, do your thing.
Right.
And give me the keys.
Right.
Where was that person?
I always thought, because I remember, and don't hold this against me, but I can remember it was around 2011. and I was watching Hard Knocks, and it was the Jets. The Jets were on for Hard Knocks, and I think somebody got in trouble or something. It was something went down, and it got to the point of call coach such and such. You know, like before the issue was about to happen, it was like, yo, let me call a coach, let me call, you know, the front office staff because I'm about to do something stupid. But like you said, when you're inebriated, I don't know.
I mean, you got to have that. You got to have that person or group of people that keep you grounded always. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy, obviously, with millions of dollars and fame, you know, to get disconnected and feel like you may be above the law and stuff like that. But look, you see, you got those guys popping up there, man, and Eli. But I will say this though, for the Raiders organization, man, you got Gruden getting outed, you know what I'm saying, with his foolishness, and now this, you know, and they really had kind of recaptured the magic, you know, because, you know, as soon as Gruden was out, they won the next game.
They won the next game.
You know, so hopefully they can bounce back, man. It was definitely a tragedy, but I wanted to touch on that real quick before we.
Hey, I do have one question for you. So we had elections all over the place. Everyone's talking about New Jersey and Virginia. You know, those governors' races. Do you blame that on Biden, or do you blame that on the people? I mean, in New Jersey, Phil Murphy, he was able to somehow, you know, win his re-election. He was reelected. Do you blame that on Biden or not? Like, who should that be blamed on?
I mean, the Democrats did relatively well. I mean, in New York and in New Jersey. I mean, obviously, they wasn't successful in Virginia. And, you know, you had Obama went down there. You had Stacey Abrams went down there. And even, you know, Biden went down there. It didn't help. But to, you know, answer your question, a couple things have hurt Biden's popularity. Obviously, he's down in the polls as far as presidential, you know, popularity. Afghanistan, you know, was big. This infrastructure bill that, you know, he had been promising to push through, and it's just stalling out, and it keeps getting chopped down and chopped down and chopped down. So, you know, it's barely going to be, you know, worth anything if it does pass. You know, he's had some struggle in this late last few months, and because his popularity is down, if he goes to campaign for somebody in a state where it's competitive, it's not going to really help him that much.
I'm going to read something to you. The Senate is split evenly, 50-50. But I really would not call Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema Democratic senators. Because
at all.
You got Biden, who's stuck trying to push his agenda up a hill, and he's got people sniping in his own party, and that's So, there's 50 senators, Democratic senators, that represent 41.5 million more people than the Senate, than the 50 Senate Republicans. Huge problem. You know what I don't want to see? I don't want to see where they say the Democrats are in trouble and the Democrats come looking for the black voters. Especially,
we've been doing that forever.
Forever. I don't want to see that. I really don't.
I mean, I wish we had more than two parties.
We have the indie party, the independent.
But
party.
it's not a real party. Like in Germany, for instance, there's multiple Democrat or liberal, if you want to call them, parties, and there's multiple conservative parties. So it kind of forces them to have to negotiate and work together because no one party has all the power at, any period of time, like it does here. And it just kind of like stalls, things that need to be done for everyday people, man. I mean, you got, like you said, 50 senators representing, a vast majority of Americans.
Yes.
And 50 senators representing a small minority of Americans. But the way that things set up, we can't get bridges fixed. We can't get roads repaired. But somehow we can write a blank check, to the Pentagon, right? Somehow we always find the money to get to the Pentagon. But when it comes to people, oh no, we can't. 12 weeks paid leave? Oh no, we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Inflation through the roof? Oh no, we're not gonna do anything to offset the inflation, right? It's very unfortunate, So you do have to have a real legitimate majority to get anything done.
Right. And like I said, as I stated earlier, with the numbers being 50-50, and you got two senators that are just blocking a majority of the items that you're trying to press forward on.
But I guarantee you this. If it was in reverse,
yes,
and Mitch McConnell was the leader, as opposed to Chuck Schumer, they would be getting stuff done. They would be pushing through their agenda.
Yes.
So,
yes, clearly.
The Republicans are just better at strategy and working together, bro, than Democrats. It's really sad.
It really is sad. It's ugly. And I just feel like we spent the last 12, 16, 20 years, we haven't gone forward. We're running in place. And everything around us is decaying. I guess going out the door, got to have you come back and talk supply chain. Got to have you come back and talk what you expect that's what's going to happen this Christmas. Were you chasing the Xboxes and the PS5s because here it is a year later, and you still can't get one.
And honestly, because you get, most of the games that's released on the PS4, I mean, there's really no incentive to go get the PS5, to be honest with you. And I've never really been into the Xbox, but, I think it's the same way, and the price of both of those consoles, man, it's like, if I got a PS4, dude, I'm good. I'm good. Like last year, you could barely find those things, and like you said, even now, a year later, they're still scarce.
You can't find them.
And the price point, it's like, I can't, it's hard for me to justify the price point.
Let me tell you the one trick. The only times you can find an Xbox or a PS5 is when you're purchasing the bundle. So if you had your mind on the $399 digital version, they're selling it to you for $650. They're giving you all this extra added stuff that you didn't even ask for, and pumping up the prices even more. Because they're like, oh, here's a couple of games, and here's another controller, here's this, here's a $20 gift card, here's V-Bucks. And you're like, how much is this? I just wanted the $399 one, and you still can't buy it in the store.
Right, like $399. I can do $399. But $650?
$650 before taxes.
And honestly, to be honest with you, when you look at the price point of what phones cost now,
right,
they're actually a little higher than that. So I guess it really depends on really how much into video games you are, and you'll find a way to justify it, because the iPhone 13 is probably the at least the top model. It is probably over $1,000, and probably the same thing for the new Samsung Fold, the new Samsung Galaxy Note. All of those are probably pushing $1,000, right?
That's crazy.
Easy.
Well, I don't think the Android phones are as much. I don't think the Android phones are as, like the niche type phones, the bendable type phones probably, but I don't think that the Android phones, you can probably get them for a little bit cheaper than that stuff, that's the Apple stuff. There's so much stuff about boats being left at the ports. People can't get in. There's a shortage on everything. Let's close out by saying,
that's a whole nother show, bro.
maybe if we built more here in the United States, maybe on the back of your iPhone, if it didn't say designed in California and was actually made in America, then maybe we'd be on to something. And granted, if it's made here, it's going to be even more expensive, because it's going to cost more. The parts are going to cost more here. The labor is going to cost more here. And these companies, as much as you love their Apple products, they love their profit margins.
They do. So it's like, that's where government is supposed to be the offset thing between the private sector and the everyday consumer, right? So again, that's a whole show we could have just talking about stuff like that.
Yeah. So I gotta have you come back. We'll talk offline.
Absolutely, man. It's been a blast as always, bro.
Well, because we get through the initial stuff, and then we start to dig deeper. And I just wanted to get to the point where we can start talking some of the social issues. We can you come back, and we start talking about the future of money.
I could talk to you about crypto, bro.
I know you could. So, gotta have you come back. Gotta check your schedule, see when we can get you back and chop it up for another hour. But I want to definitely thank you. What are the best ways to follow you? How do any of our audio listeners who are going to hear this podcast, or people who are watching the live stream, how do they get in contact with you?
Oh, you can just hit me up on Twitter at Hezzie McCaleb, HezziemCCaleb as in boy.
All right, got it. Hez, as always, thank you, and we will be in touch in the very near future, because I think we got a lot of things we got to talk about. We'll talk to you later.
I'll be here, brother.